every so often you can reset your healing source point simply by holding down the Alt key to set it again, and then simply keep on dragging. So continue with these couple of tools until you've cloned out all of the blemishes in the image. Okay, so now I've completed cloning out all the major blemishes on the skin, and I've just gone to layer and flatten image to flatten the image back to a background layer. Now, although we've cloned out the blemishes, you'll see that the skin has still rather a pronounced texture to it, and we'd like to smooth that texture out. Now, this is again very easily done. Click on the background layer, right click, and we'll duplicate the layer itself, and we'll click OK with that. Now for this, for the skin smoothing technique, we're going to use a filter called the median filter, and we can find that via filter, noise, and median. Let's just reduce the size of that preview a little. You want to use a fairly small value here, certainly not a great deal more than 10 pixels, and we can see in the preview and in the image behind, which is a good point. Make sure that you've got your preview box checked here. We can see from this that this is really nicely smoothing the skin and giving us just the effect we want to achieve. I'm actually going to take that up to around about 15 here. It's really a case of judging the thing visually for each individual image. Okay, so I'm going to click OK now to apply that filter, which can take a couple of minutes or so. Okay, so now my median filter has been applied and it's smoothed the skin rather nicely indeed. However, you'll see there's a problem here because we've not only smoothed the skin, we've smoothed every other area of the image, which is definitely not what we want. We want the eyes, the nose and the mouth, the main features and the hair to remain really nice and sharp. So for this we need to use a layer mask. Now in Photoshop proper, using layer masks is really quite straightforward. However, in Photoshop Elements we don't have the advantage of layer masks, but thankfully we can still do something for this. So let's click on the background layer, and we'll go to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and Levels. Simply click OK to that dialog. Now the important thing here is not to make any adjustments whatsoever to the levels dialog, because we simply want to use the layer mask from it. So all we'll do is click OK to that dialog without making any changes at all. I now want to click on my blurred layer, and we'll go to Layer and Group with Previous. Now because we've done that, I can now click on the layer mask for this fill layer and go to Edit, Fill Layer. I'm going to choose black for the fill colour and simply click OK. Now you'll see because I filled that layer with black and it's grouped with my blurred layer, it's completely hidden the blur altogether, which is exactly what we wanted, and it's a really good way to cheat layer masks in Photoshop Elements. So now I want to choose my brush tool. Now what we're going to do, we're actually going to paint on this layer mask to reveal the blurred areas just over the skin. And we want to paint on the layer mask with white, and I want to choose a fairly soft brush from the brush picker here, so I'm going to go for that one. Just increase the size of the brush a little, and I'm just going to reduce the opacity of my brush to around about 50%, so we're not making too much of a difference, and we can take things nice and gradually. So now all I need to do is literally paint over the areas of skin. I will be doing this rather quickly, but I advise that you take more time to do this.